What's up, everybody? One Fun Guy podcast in the studio tonight. Tonight's episode is going to be sponsored by the Clubhouse Inc. So if you like this hoodie that I'm wearing or any of the other ones I've worn in the past, it's going to be www.shoptheclubhs.com. That's www.shoptheclubhs.com. And I'm going to shout out Alexa at Steam and Cuts. She lined me up today, so I shot her out for the beard trim. So she got me all freshed up for this show. So my guest tonight is going to be Lateesha. Finally, she's in the studio with me. We kind of got it down. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll get going.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lateesha Robinson, and I am the owner of the Essential Housekeeping. We do residential and commercial cleaning for all the surrounding suburbs.
Awesome. So let's start with that. So you own your own business, which is awesome. We love business owners on this channel, and it's very near and dear to me. So what made you decide to start your own business?
That's a good question. So I didn't think I would be a business owner, honestly. I would say life happened. Life was lifing, and
Sure.
I needed to change, switch things around. So initially, I had stability and I was working in the healthcare field, um, but some things transpired where I needed to take care of my nephew and bring him into my home. So I just did something where I could be more accessible for my kids and my nephew and support them where they needed to be met. And cleaning came about. So.
All right. So cleaning came about. So was there anything that drew you to the cleaning field as opposed to starting a business like a restaurant, or like what made you pick cleaning out of all the things you could have picked? What drew you to that?
So cleaning is something that I enjoy doing outside of my business. Like I just like cleaning. I love a clean home. I love coming home to a place that smells good. So I did something that I enjoy already doing. So when I thought about it, I was like, what can I do that I like doing? And I had started a small business prior to this, which was selling eyewear because I wear glasses. So I was like, I'm gonna start doing this, and I was really passionate about that one, but it wasn't making enough money.
Sure.
So I needed to do something that could make me some income and
Sure.
take care of me and my kids. So cleaning was it.
So that's awesome. So since you started cleaning and it's a very successful business, let's talk about your clients and their needs. How do you find your clients? Do they find you? Do you find them? A little bit of both. And then we'll talk about their needs and how you operate with them. So kind of walk us through finding a client and setting up an introduction, and then we'll go from them inviting you into their home to do what you need to do. So.
Well, shout out to my clients. Okay.
All right,
I
sounds
love
good.
my
Yeah, yeah.
clients. They support me and I love that for me. But when I first started, I stayed in Naperville. So I stayed in a community called Brookdale. And I made a post and I said something along the lines like, I'm going to take a step out on faith and change careers and I'm going to start cleaning. And then all the moms started messaging me. And I was doing cleaning for like $80, like super
Sure,
cheap.
sure. Yeah.
But majority of my clients came from referrals. So it took one client, all I had to do was one house, and then that person was selling the next person, and then the next person, and it just went from there. Um, so I'm very blessed that those clients stuck with me from the beginning to now, and I'm like a year and 6 months, in.
Sure. So when a client finds you or you find them, how do you figure out their needs based on the size of the home? How do you look at like your pricing? How do you sit down and like contract them? Like how do you set your business platform up?
So definitely trial and error. So at first I was taking phone calls and just relying on the customer to be honest and let me know their home condition. But then I was like, when I get there, it would be something else. So we definitely do a walkthrough. When you call or when you message me and let me know your needs, if you need a deep cleaning, basic cleaning. As of right now, my standard is basically if you're a new client, you're going to have to get a deep cleaning because I got to get you to a standard where I can maintain. Um, so, yeah, if you're a new client, the deep cleaning, and then after that, after I get done with the deep cleaning, I'm recommending reoccurring services. So, all my clients are on reoccurring packages, which means I see them weekly, bi-weekly, or every 3 weeks. So we locked in. We family. So I'm very blessed that my clients trust me to service them, trust me in their homes, rely on me to keep up their cleaning needs. And I try very, very hard to build a relationship with each and every one of my clients. Um, I think that's what sets me apart from any other cleaning business. Is because I'm so personable with my clients and they know that they can call or text me and I'm going to respond like right away.
Awesome. So, with that being said, I know I asked you when we first met, how is it a client versus a trust relationship, knowing that you're going to into their home and they may or may not be home? How do you build that relationship over time? Obviously, the first time there's an initial meeting, but somebody has to trust you enough when they're not home to say, okay, I feel comfortable with this person coming into my house and that they're going to not mess with anything. They're not going to, how do you build that relationship? Is that rapport over time? Like, kind of walk us through that type of thing. Because I think most people,
Mm-hmm.
when they think of home cleaning, they're like, well, I'm going to watch them, right? I don't want them in my personal stuff, right? I don't want them going through my drawers. I don't want them, but sometimes to get the job done, you have to do that. So, kind of walk us through that where you kind of make the client feel comfortable, where you're going to leave things be and you're not going to, you know, move anything around or take anything or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, honestly, I can only be me. So, when I meet you as a new client, I'm giving 100% me. I don't try to be anything more than what I am. I'm very real about it. And then the first appointment, times out of 10, somebody's going to stay around. And I want you to stay around. I want you to feel comfortable. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you do for work. I want to know how many kids you have. And then after the first appointment, it's kind of now we're building trust at this point. Um, I've never been the type of person who would do anything out of character. So I think just with any other relationship outside of the cleaning business, it just takes time. But as of right now, I would say 95% of my clients, they're not at home
Mm-hmm.
at all. Either I have clients that go on vacation and let me in. I even have a client in Chicago that I think we friends at this point, but
Sure,
she
sure, yeah,
basically like she stays in Chicago. When I come to Chicago, she said you could park here in my garage, or you can come upstairs. Just tell the doorman. So
sure,
we family at this point. If you trust me enough to be elsewhere, and I can come to your house and
sure.
relax or whatever. So I think it just happened over time, and it's just who I am as a person. I treat your home just like I would treat mine's. And I would never compromise any relationship that I have with my clients because they invest in me and they help me take care of my children. So,
Hmm. Sure. So, when you go up to a house, let's just say you walk to an average house, right? Say a 3 bedroom, 2 bath is kind of the standard
mhm.
house. What stands out from a house like that versus walking into like a mini mansion where it might be 7 or 8 bedrooms? You know, I know you mentioned Naperville, they have some very big houses. What is the contrast like? And then how do you set your prices based on the size of the house? Because obviously, you pull up to a normal house, they have a driveway. When you pull up to, you know, a mansion, it's got a very long driveway and a very big house and a very, how do you navigate through that?
So I've had my share of bigger houses, especially in the area called White Eagle in Naperville. With those houses, primarily they're not as dirty as a standard house. It's more so in my situations where it's maybe like an elderly couple or a person who doesn't have kids and they just need surface cleaning and dusting, although it takes a while, it's not as deep of a cleaning as someone who has two kids and a dog and stuff
Sure.
like that. So I price accordingly. I would say I'm affordable, but I also know my worth.
Right.
So
That's yeah. So we're gonna get into that.
for
We'll
sure,
touch on that.
I'm affordable, but I know my worth. I do have standard prices. So new clients, let's say in your instance, you said 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. New clients are paying 325. For me to come in to service you, um, and to get the house to a standard where I need it to be. And it's kind of just like across the board.
Hmm.
Now, if it's like a huge house, it's going to be more to like the 575 range. And at that point, they shouldn't even have a problem with
Right.
paying it.
Yeah.
But
Right. It's
um, it just depends on the house.
sure. So do you set your prices based on the amount of time that it takes you to clean a house, or do you set your prices based on surely the size of the house? Is it a little bit of both, or is it just like, do you obviously you say you do the walkthrough, but like what determines your price? Like versus something that's like relatively clean but
Mm.
massive, or something that's relatively small but like extremely dirty?
So I have flat fees.
Okay.
So it's either I'm not really a time cleaner, and I think that's a little different than other cleaning business that I've been seeing in the area. Because it's like if you book for 2 hours, at 2 hours they're stopping, whether they're done or not. With me, when you purchase a deep cleaning, I understand that it's an investment. It's a decent amount of money. So I'm gonna make sure that I finish. I did a deep cleaning today and it took 5 hours. But that didn't really change the price at all.
Okay.
She already, paid um I want to say it was around $400. So she paid
Okay.
that price and she gets her whole house clean no matter how long it takes me. And then after that, when we merge into reoccurring services, it's a 3 hour appointment. So it's from 9 to 12 and then 1 to 4. And with basic cleanings, it's just maintenance cleaning. So it shouldn't take any longer than that.
Okay. So when you have a set price and you do that, and you are going to clean, is that something you say, okay, I could do this by myself, or is that something where you might say, I need some help? Like, do you have anybody that you can rely on to back you up? Because I mean, I know sometimes when we clean our house, we're at it all day and we're like, man, this was exhausting. It took forever to do it. And, mostly it's when company's coming over, when somebody's coming over, we kind of try to maintain
Yeah.
cleanliness throughout, but like we really will deep clean when somebody is coming over. But there's two of us. How do you find it that it's easier to do it by yourself? That way you know it gets done, or do you sometimes say, "Hey, listen, I could really use a hand here."
Well, anybody who's watching, I am hiring. I need help.
All right. So that answers that
I
question.
need help. I had a really amazing assistant working for me. She was working for me for a year, but she ended up moving further, and it really didn't make sense for her to continue traveling out here. So as of right now, I'm back to being a solo cleaner, which
Okay.
is really ghetto. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I have been supporting other cleaning business owners in the area. So like today, I partnered with another cleaning business owner. Essentially, I paid her to help me. But I like working with other cleaning business owners who may not have as many clients as I do, or maybe just started out and want to learn some stuff from me. I'm not saying that I know it all, but I've had a fair share of trial and error. So with this particular person that helped me today, she's struggling with marketing and getting clientels. And as a me, I have the clients, but I don't have the help. So um, I was happy that she was willing to work with me today. But essentially, when we do a deep cleaning, it needs to be two people. Now, I've done it by myself. I'll be doing one tomorrow by myself. But I don't like it because it just
Sure.
leaves room for me to miss things. And I don't really like missing things. So I prefer to do it with someone else.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about that. You said your marketing is very, very good,
Mhm.
and your social media presence is very wide. You have a lot of stuff that you put out for marketing and stuff like that. When you do that, how much time do you put into your marketing, and you're investing into yourself, obviously, because it's your business, but marketing is big. What kind of take us through those steps of what you do to plan your post, how you navigate through social media, and the time that you invest into doing that?
Well, I'm a realist. So when I know I got to pay for stuff, I up it up a notch. So when I got bills to pay, I'm upping it up a notch. So I'm doing a special or something. But I think what works best for me is all of my I presented like most of my clients with like a VIP package. So with that one, it's if you know, hey, I need a cleaner and I need something like a long relationship with this cleaner. I want to establish a relationship with this cleaner. I have like a VIP package and it makes the client feel special because they're VIP, but with me, they're investing $2,000 to $3,000 into my service in the beginning in one fee. So that could get you 3, 4, 6 months of cleaning. And I know that we're going to be in this for a while.
Okay.
And it also creates stability for my income. And then it also establishes a relationship between us because I know that I'm going to have that client for at least 6 months. Um, but what was your question again? I forgot.
So I was gonna say, you obviously navigate social media very well.
Yeah.
Between your post on, the big platforms as Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that.
Okay.
What do you like? What time frames do you put into doing that? Is it a couple minutes when you create a post? Is it something you think about like the day before and you say, okay, I'm gonna put a post in the morning, the afternoon, at night? Is it on your downtime? Is it like, because obviously marketing is big, right? So when you have a business and you want to promote it, there has to be some thought into it. There has to be some kind of stuff that goes into it. How much time do you put into that, would you say?
So I know that my goal for marketing is at least 2 posts a day. One TikTok, something on Facebook a day. And the
Okay.
reason why I don't try to do overload because I'm still in the field and I'm working. So I'm working in my business instead of working on my business, which is the goal. Um, so while I'm working, I don't have much time to post as much. But the TikTok for sure, I want engagement and I want people to see that I'm working today. I try to do it in the morning, so I hit them with the good morning. And I have a lot of cleaning friends on TikTok as well, so we give each other a lot of um, ideas and feedbacks. And then in regards to Facebook, I try to post specials if I have them. So I have like a flashback or flash sale Saturday. Um, as of right now, I got a back to school special.
Okay.
So whatever is relevant, um, like Fourth of July, like whatever holiday is relevant or relevant, I try to create like a package catered to that.
Sure. So we'll talk about that, not next. I always tell everybody that the power of social media is huge. The presence is there. What you can put out is amazing. What do you feel is the most important part of posting on social media? Is it your days and times? Is it your availability? Is it your price? Is it all the above? Because it's different for podcasting, right? Because I don't make any money out of this. I just want people to subscribe to my channel. You are running a business where you make a living doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the most important aspect of it is to you? Is that just constantly putting yourself out there, or is it making your post count?
You know what matters to me the most is the recommendations. Honestly, my clients refer me and I get tagged in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of realtors refer me. So I appreciate that. I really don't have to do as much because when someone says I'm looking for a cleaning service, 9 times out of 10, somebody already tagged the essential housekeeping before I even got there, which I appreciate a lot. Um, but other than that, I don't really post prices. The reason being is because it's a lot of competition out
Sure.
there.
Right.
So
Exactly.
when somebody sees your price, of course they're gonna go lower than your price.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't post prices, and I want people to understand that I specialize like a plan for them, like their specific house. It's not um a solid price around the board. Like every house is different. So I want clients to understand that whatever price that we come about is specifically for you. So I yeah, I'm more personable with my
Sure.
pricing. I don't know.
Right. No, absolutely. That's completely understandable. So what I'm going to do is take a step back a little bit, right? You mentioned earlier you left the healthcare field. And I love this part of the story about you because you walked away from a very good and noble profession to take a leap of faith and to
Mhm.
start your own business. Can you kind of walk us through the progress of like what was your headspace like at that point? Like, did you know it was something you wanted to do? Was it just something where you just had a bad day at work and said, I'm done with this, I'm going to start something else? Or was this like an overtime decision? Like, kind of walk us through leaving a great profession into basically taking a leap of faith into something you didn't know was going to work out for you.
Yeah, I mean, not to bring religion in it, but I felt like God was giving me every reason to do this. um, it, honestly, I didn't ask to be in the situation with, my nephew or whatever, but what, I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything. My nephew needed to come stay with me, and I had a home for him to live at. Um, it was a adjustment for me going from having 2 kids to 3 kids. With my kids, we had a schedule. Everything was kind of planned out, and then now I have this third kid who needs a lot more attention. Um, but every decision I make is in the best interest of my kids. So walking away from that job, it was hard because that's where the money was, and I was
Right.
making abundance of money. But I will say that I I knew it was best for me to walk away and to give my attention to my children and to be accessible for them. And I knew that I was gonna be okay. Like I was gonna figure it out, and
Right.
something else was gonna happen. And it just so happened. I don't know if I told you or whatever, but I was in 2 car accidents, kind of like back to back, and I was going back and forth of like, should I keep my nephew or should I not? And to the outside world, they would think like, why wouldn't you? But
Mm-hmm.
any person going through that situation, it's a big adjustment to take on another kid that's not your kid.
Right.
Um, but I got into 1 car accident and I totaled my car, and then another car accident on the way to the hospital. And then that was just like a wake up call for me. And it gave me confirmation like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, you need to take in your nephew and you need to switch careers and you need to be accessible. So I woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a cleaning business. And I took a leap of faith. And it was a scary road for me because I went from making $4,000-5,000 a
Yeah.
month
Sure.
to I was making nothing. And I was just like, how can I change the situation? But the support of my community in Naperville and support of my friends really helped my situation. And I just, stayed optimistic, and it just, my business really took off. And I was just really like shocked. Like,
Sure.
I did this, I could
Right.
do this. So I was happy about that.
Yeah. So this is kind of where I use the time to where I can make a difference because I want to use her story to motivate people to, if you don't think you can do something, don't think of the negative thoughts, think of the positive thoughts. Starting your own business, starting your a different career path, there are times where you just have to say, I'm going to try something, and if it doesn't work, I can always go back to what I was doing. And this is where I want to use this platform with Lateesha here, because it is a big risk to walk away from your comfort in your norm. But if you don't do it, you don't want to look back 50 years from now and say, man, when I was 20 years old, I should have done this, or I wish I could have done that, because now's the time to do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, what stage you are in your life, and what you're doing. If you have a passion and you have a mindset that you want to do something, you will find a way to do it. Whether it's cleaning houses, whether it's starting a podcast, whether it's growing a business, whether it's having, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And that's kind of the positivity that I want to put into the universe, because she is living proof that you can. She walked away from a great job, and nursing is one of the most noble professions out there. It's a selfless job where you have to take care of other people constantly. It's a grind, and for all the people who are nurses out there and work in the medical field, they understand that what it takes to be a first responder in that field and to care for somebody else, and to walk away from a job that's a guaranteed salary with a guaranteed pension with guaranteed insurance to a job where you don't know what's going to happen next is a huge risk, but the reward could be that much greater. And I'm sure she'll attest to where she's at now, that she wouldn't look back a second time and would have said, I would have never done it again. So that's kind of where I want to put this into the universe. And why I had her on my show is because you can do it. The change in one's life, no matter their circumstances, if you have a will and you have a mindset, you can do it. And that's kind of what, I want to portray into everything we've talked about since, the beginning of the episode until now, is hard work and dedication pays off. And as long as you maintain a positive attitude and keep that mind space, you can do it. So obviously you can attest to doing it because you did it, right? So that's awesome, right? So now we're going to talk about what's next, because I asked her a few questions. I was like, hey, did you ever think about maybe breaking into apartments or condos or clean? And she said, yes, I do. So tell us about what your goals are next.
My goal for my business is to scale it. I want to take a step back, and I want to be able to manage my business opposed to working in my business. So I want to be able to hire some amazing assistants to duplicate the work that I've already dished out, and be able to scale it. As of right now, my goal this year is commercial. So we've been driving super hard on commercial. Um, there's a lot of opportunity that we've been recently presented in Chicago. So I'm really happy about that. I don't know, have you heard of a co op before?
Yes.
I have never heard of a co op. So I've learned about it recently, and there's an opportunity for me to clean a co op. And I'm really excited about that. So as of right now, we're solely focusing on commercial. I love my residential clients, but commercial is where the big money is.
Sure.
So that's where I want my business to go this year.
So let's talk about the power of networking, because you went from finding clients to getting more clients to now you're starting business ventures with other people. Tell us how you use networking as a focal point of your business, because obviously it's important to talk to people and it's important to interact with people, but you've grown from a small business to your mindset is entrepreneurship now.
Mm-hmm.
So how does networking to you work, and how does it, how do you feel about, talking to people and growing your business, and, not being shy, obviously, because you're very outgoing. So
yeah, so I like to be by myself. Prior to starting my business, I only talked if I needed to. And now, since I have a business, I have to talk in order to make money. So it's personal growth, I would say, very much. Just communicating with people and creating a dialogue between one another, and just putting myself out there was very hard for me in the beginning of when I started my business, because it was new to me. Um, but the relationships that I've built with so many people is amazing. I wouldn't change it for anything. Um, I didn't really know the importance of networking until now. I kind of just stuck with who I knew, and that was it. But I have a lot of people who I don't even know personally, but just met me in bypassing or heard me speak at a networking event, or got my card from someone and they call me with business, and I'm just like, this is amazing. So I appreciate anyone who referred me or my business and met me. Um, I appreciate everyone who support me in my business for sure. But
Sure.
networking is it's the top of the
Right.
list. It's at the top of the list.
Sure. So now we're going to go into you developed some products, right?
Oh
Some sprays. And
yes.
so tell us about that different stuff that you have going on besides just that. Now you're starting to get your brand developed
Yes.
as you so. So tell us a little bit about that and what how you came up with that idea.
So I had a lady, I was at a networking event. I had a lady ask me what sets me apart from any other cleaning business. And I could not answer the question. I was just like, I don't know. And she was like, I want to help you find that answer. So she worked at a company called Enlaro, which is based in Geneva. And they create, you have the ability to create your own scents or your own candles, and anybody who wants to do that, go check them out in Geneva. But I took some time and I went there and I was like, this is cool. And at first they were saying like they give it away as like a gift to clients, but I was like, no, like I'm gonna
Mhm.
sell this.
Right, right, right.
I'm not giving this away for free. So it took me about 3 months to come up with my scent, which I named it the essential scent. And the reason why is because a lot of my clients were not really feeling like air fresheners. Um, and when I clean, I like to smell scents. That's the only way I know that it's clean. And a lot of clients, they really don't like scents. So I came up with something where men and women can use it. And it just stamps everything about the essential
Mhm.
housekeeping. It's called the essential scent. All my clients sold me out. And then I came up with two candles shortly after that. So the first candle was New Home. And the reason why I came up with that was because I kept getting a lot of move-in cleanings. And I was like, this would be a perfect gift in a sense for them, but they're gonna buy it though, not a gift.
Right,
But
right.
I gave it to them and
Sure.
they purchased it. And then my other one was Made in Heaven. So that business is called Essentially Made, and I was able to exhibit that at a business expo last year in Naperville, at Fox Valley Mall, and it kind of just took off from there. Um, so I think that's what sets me apart from any other cleaning business owner is that I came up with my own scents and my own candles to kind of just leave my mark in your home. So it's really cool because I get to go to my client's house and they still have my candles and they still use my sprays and I see it
Right.
in their house. So I was just like, this is cool.
That's great. And so, guys, we'll link up everything. So, this video will go to YouTube when we're done. And I will link where you can buy all this stuff. I will link all her socials and stuff. So, don't be afraid. When you go to YouTube, the video will be posted and we'll have all her stuff there. So, everything she's talking about will post up over there. So, if you want any of her services or any of her products, there'll be a way to find that. So, the next thing I want to move into now is I know you had talked about the idea of the co-ops and the apartments and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Your business presence now is established. You've been doing this now for a year. You kind of have your foundation. Um, where do you see yourself like into the future? I know you said you wanted to do the management type thing. You wanted to be basically the boss of a company and run everybody. When you get to that platform, what is that? Where do you think you'll go from there? Do you have more aspiration and goals, or would you just be content with doing that? Or like kind of walk us through like the ultimate goal? Because obviously, everybody dreams about what you're doing and
Yeah.
they all say, oh, I want to start a business, and they do it. And then you're going to be walk us through the steps of like your mindset to be where you're at now to where you see yourself next year and then maybe a couple of years down the line.
Well, first off, I'll say entrepreneurship is hard. It is a up and down battle, but it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life. So, um, I to answer your question, I don't really know exactly where I foresee it. I know for sure like a franchise is not the way I want
Mm-hmm.
to go. And the reason being is although I get a lot of advice with people telling me to separate myself from the business, I don't think I'll ever be able to.
Okay.
Because I've grown to love all my clients, and I want to still be an active partner in my
Sure.
business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But um I would say taking it to different states is something that I do want to do.
Okay.
I do want to purchase Airbnbs and have my cleaning business clean them. Um, so I'm looking for business ventures along that line. So I mean, I want to be in Houston, I want to be in Atlanta, I want to be in Vegas, and I want to have properties out there, and I want to have my, workers out there who can clean those properties as well. There's a lot of growth for cleaners. I just saw something on Facebook where um, there's cleaners in Florida who's making 20, 30,000 a month, and I'm just like, I need to get
Right.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that's the goal,
Yeah,
to go out there.
sure.
But as of right now, I wouldn't say I'm blessed, but I'm not 100% fulfilled, because I know that there's a lot of people who need my service,
Sure.
and I'm only one person. So
Right.
my business needs to grow so I can be able to service everyone as of right now.
Sure. So yeah, so definitely growth is a main focus. Now you mentioned Airbnb. Did you ever think that home rentals would be as big as they are? Because I never thought it would be a
No.
big thing, right? It was always kind of weird, right? You never,
Yeah.
most people when you were out of town and you said, "Hey, come over to my house and spend the night," you're like, "Oh, I don't really like sleeping in a different environment. I really don't like showering at somebody's, at a stranger's house. I don't like going to the bathroom at." And now it's like the norm, right?
Yes.
Like you look for somebody's house, and even if they're living in it and you're renting a room for the night,
Mm.
like it's kind of weird, but it's like it's kind of so just it takes me away, right? When you used to have like those old like Psycho, right? Like Norman Bates, right? You had a
Yeah.
motel and they'd invite people like, on the road to stay, and it was always creepy. And now you walk into somebody else's house and you sleep there for the night. Like it's a weird concept to wrap my head around. I know we're sidetracking a little bit, but like the Airbnb thing kind of just, it weirds me out. Like, and I've done it and it's just kind of unique, but I don't know. It's just kind of a strange phenomenon
It's
that
a good
we,
investment.
it is,
Airbnbs
it
are a
is.
good
Yeah.
investment, and it's a different type of clean when you do Airbnbs, honestly. I learned a lot of things along the way by starting, because when I first started, there's a guy who reached out to me. He has 7 Airbnbs within the Naperville and Aurora area. So a lot of my cleaning tactics that I use now with like presentation came from cleaning his Airbnbs, because they have to be perfect. So I appreciate starting with Airbnb as opposed to starting to with residentials in the beginning, because it taught me a lot in regards. I think that's why I have OCD when
Right.
I'm cleaning.
Sure.
Everything has to be perfect because of where I started.
Sure. So I know you talked about today, right? You had a deep clean and how do you manage your time to say, okay, this is going to take me 5 hours today. If I do 2 deep cleans in a day, that's a 10-hour day.
Hmm.
And then if I have a deep clean tomorrow and a deep clean Sunday, I'm working now a lot of hours and a lot of days. How do you manage your time? Do you keep a calendar? Do you keep a schedule? Do you risk it? Do you just
Hmm.
say, hey, I have to fit my client in and it doesn't matter if I work, you know, 12, 13 hours today, I'm going to do it? Or is that like, how do you navigate through your time preference in terms of booking and scheduling and then actually finishing a job and getting to the next one? Oh, um, all right. Well, so we'll go through that question here, and then we're coming up on the 45-minute mark, so we're gonna wrap things up. But we'll uh, talk about that in a little bit. Where can we find you on social media though, real quick, and then we'll wrap that up.
Um, so on Facebook, you can find me at the Essential Housekeeping, and Instagram, the Essential Housekeeping _ and then TikTok is Cleaning with Lateesha.
Okay, so guys, what we'll do is we'll have Lateesha come back on. She actually has a family emergency. She just got a text message, so um, we're gonna wrap things up now. Obviously, I'll have her back on again, and then we will go from there. She is very busy. She squeezed me in. I know we've been trying to get back and forth with each other for a few weeks now and get everything all squared away. But I will have her back on. We'll finish this up and then we'll go from there. So again, all her links will be in the YouTube page as soon as I upload this video. It takes me about 35 to 40 minutes to edit it. I'm a one-man team, and then it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for the video to upload. So a little bit later tonight, we will have it all uploaded, and I'll leave all her links and all her socials in there. If you're interested in having her clean your home, she is very, very good at what she does. I will link up all her information so that you have it in the bio, and then we will go from there. So I know she has to run now, so we'll wrap the episode up now, and then down the road we'll definitely have her back on. We only got through about half of the stuff I wanted to talk about, so I knew it was going to be cutting it close to the hour to begin with, but we'll pick it up from where we left off now. We'll definitely have her on again, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Thank you for all the love and support. If you could like this video and share it, that would be great. If you could just head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe, that would be great. If you want to hit the notifications and get alerts of when I'm live, that'd be fantastic. But if you don't, it's not a big deal. If you could just at least subscribe, that would help me out a lot. So thank you guys. I'm the One Fun Guy podcast, and we'll see you next time.